Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And BlueDragonFive.
And tonight, we're talking Mr. Banks. Yeah, we haven't done proper Disney discussion in a while. We've been talking about Gotham. We've been talking Once Upon a Time, but feels good, BlueDragonFive. Feels good to be back in the firm Disney side of things for once. So what are we here to talk about tonight?
Well, tonight we're here to talk about the first real kind of footage teaser / trailer we've gotten from Brad Bird's big passion project, coming out next year, May 22nd, 2015, Tomorrowland.
Yeah, this is a big one. It really is. I mean,
I turned down Star Wars for this.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, to be fair, I think a lot of people turn down Star Wars just because I can't imagine the pressure. But yeah, but you're right. This is a big thing for him. And I'm one of the I'm like a hardcore sort of like film snob, sort of like I know all the Oscar-winning directors and everything, but let me tell you, Brad Bird is on the short list for me in terms of like every time I see his name attached to a project, I'm instantly just like, oh, I really need to see that.
Brad Bird's definitely a go-to guy. When you think of like who could direct a really good movie, he's definitely an option. Like, the only two people I really speculate could do a Star Wars movie. I mean, don't get me wrong, we got good guys in it working on them now.
Can't wait for the Ryan Johnson episode 8.
Certainly. I mean, like, the only two names really came to mind, because I think who's from prior experience I know could do it would be Brad Bird and Andrew Stanton.
Andrew Stanton would be really good too, although
he loves Star Wars.
I question if the studio wants to give it to him after.
Yeah, that's the only. But again, think about it. It had a bit of a Star Wars vibe to it also, so I think he'd be definitely.
I mean, yeah, it did, but I kind of feel like that might make them like all the more nervous.
Well, I'm just saying like the smart. I'm saying like kind of the smart move that Hollywood rarely does.
He made Wall-E for God's sake, so we know he's a talent.
It all bounces. John Carter, I don't know in terms of John Carter's case, but John Carter's good movie, just marketing kind of killed it.
Yeah, for sure, that's definitely the case. Disney was kind of going through a rough patch in John Carter, where you had that, you had The Lone Ranger, just movies that had just terrible marketing campaigns. Well, anyways, I don't know. I think The Lone Ranger was more that movie just couldn't be saved. But yeah, anyways.
Now, speaking of marketing, let's before we get into the trailer, let's talk about some of this. I guess it's a bit of speculation, but all we knew about this before this trailer.
Okay.
Pretty much, Brad Bird is kind of this cool thing at the Disney Comic-Con, for lack of a better word, D23.
D23, yeah.
Yeah. He displayed a mysterious box that. Essentially, this box was labeled like 1952, and what was in this box was essentially whether it's the actual stuff or not, I don't know. I think it'd be awesome. It said it like worked, so I'm assuming it might be actual real deal type stuff. But it was a box in 1952 and had old Imagineering records and so on and so forth. Basically, some records, some Disney recordings, some blueprints. Journals and so on and so forth. Essentially, Imagineering stuff that went into the Tomorrowland theme park, presumably.
I hate to be a real stickler about this, but yeah, 1952 kind of predates Disney Imagineering.
Well, I mean, I guess it's when the stuff might have been in the works, or at least an idea conceptually, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, like, if we're talking 1952, like, that's back in the days when they were talking about putting like a quaint little park-like thing across the street from the studio. I only know that because I'm reading a book about Disneyland history right now, so it's kind of fresh in my mind. So I apologize for being a stickler about facts.
Well, to be fair, I think I looked it up just briefly before we did this thing, and I just know the working title was 1952, and word was 1952. I believe the box was labeled 1952. So whether it was actually the year or not, I'm not quite. Not quite sure, but
because I mean, like with Tomorrowland, I mean, I'm not sure how many concepts they had for Tomorrowland, but I know when they actually built the park back in 1955, Tomorrowland was definitely like a leftover. You know what I mean? It was like an afterthought. Like all it had was just like a bunch of corporate exhibits and the Autopia and a crappy boat ride that didn't work right. That was there for like less than a year.
Tell me this: when you say 55 they were building, do you mean like it was in the process and then that's when it started, or do you mean just literally they came up with it and everything starting at 55?
They started construction 54. It lasted exactly a year until 55.
Well, maybe this is the conceptual era, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But like I said, Tomorrowland itself was kind of an afterthought when they got to the, when they got to actually building the park. So it's interesting that that Tomorrowland concepts would be that early on, like 52. Because like I said, 52, like that is way before they even had like a concrete location for Disneyland. So they were still.
Well, the point is, he has a box. This box will hold Imagineering records, records of the old Imagineering technologies and thought processes in a box. He displayed pretty much people who examined the box, and that was all. Keeping the whole process on the mysterious, keeping it on the mysterious in the wraps.
Oh yeah.
So really, he's really kept smart with the marketing so far, and the movie comes out next year, so we'll see how that goes forward. He's really kept this thing under wraps. It's a passion project that's really been kept close to the chest.
Right, and now with this teaser trailer, I kind of feel like it's a really good teaser in that it gives you just enough so you're not like, well, that was just kind of a logo and a quote. That wasn't really much of anything. It gave us just enough so we're like, okay, here's some concrete details about this thing. Let's see if we can piece it together. So
still not much concrete details, but we can definitely go through what we present with the trailer, which looks promising.
I think there were a couple concrete details in the trailer, but I'll get to them. You want to jump into it?
Okay, so let's see. Again, not much to recap, but essentially, little girl, our main character, I believe her character name is Casey Newton.
Mm-hmm.
She's in a police station of some sort. So I presume she was like a holding cell overnight, collecting her possessions.
Yeah, right. Really interesting that we get introduced to the main character in a police station. Like, there's definitely kind of throws just a little bit of shade on her right at the beginning.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of into that. Like, I'm kind of into like a complex protagonist like that.
Oh yeah. Well, she could be she could be Star-Lord for all we know. Like,
exactly.
Anyway, so she's collecting her items, the guy's listing them off, and basically says, okay, this, your pocket change.
Whatever this is.
Yeah, whatever this is, some gum, and also a pin. And then he walks away, she collects her items, says, wait, this isn't in my box. Says, what? And he drops it, and she picks it up, and then she touches it, and for a brief moment, She freaks out because she's teleported to another land before she lets go, and she's back in the world. Like, what the heck?
Yeah, she like freaks out, and then like everyone in the station's kind of like, what the hell is this?
Like who?
About?
Like who can blame her? I mean, that was just like a sudden. You touch that thing, you're in another land. So that's dream.
Yeah. By the way, I bet you anything Disney marketing is going to have an absolute ball with this Tomorrowland pin.
I gotta tell you, the pin look awesome though. It looks so.
Oh yeah, it does, and I want one, and I'm not even interested in Disney pins.
And it's not just like a one is like you press the little logo inside a plastic thing. It was like an actual metal pin.
Right, yeah. But of course, like currently these days, Disney pin collecting's been going on for quite some time, so so you got to think there's a bit of cross marketing there.
Oh yeah, it's a cool looking pin. So anyway, she touches this pin. She's in like a new world. Then we hear some really again, not much is said in this trip, but really intriguing things are said by George Clooney.
Yeah, definitely.
He says like, what if you were in a land where nothing's impossible, where you can change the world.
You want to go? I love that. It's cool. It's really cool.
And his character's name is Frank Walker, who essentially he's kind of an eccentric inventor who presumably might be a conceptual mind behind this, at least this Tomorrowland's weather.
Oh yeah, sure. Okay. One brief thing to know is that in the police station, you're getting like news reports of like, oh, riots breaking out.
Yes, and behind George Clooney, you see a little more detail. Like, it looks like it's a really apocalyptic world, like explosions and fires going off in the background. It looks like, I think what they're hammering is like, Tomorrowland's the ultimate escapism from this really depressing world.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is really a good message to have with like a theme park. It's all about escapism.
Right. Yeah. Perfect. Okay, so So,
And anyway, well, before that, we see the visual spectacle.
mhm.
She touches the pin a little longer, and she takes a look at this. Really, oh, I gotta tell you, the world looks beautiful after she touches that pin. It's
Well, first of all, what do you think about that whole concept of like the giant endless field of wheat?
of what, wheat?
Of wheat? Yeah.
Oh yeah, it looks. You know what kind of reminds me of?
Mm.
It kind of makes me think. I'm just kind of thinking about it right now. It makes me think of like that undeveloped land for like when they build the theme park, and it's basically like this is all you're standing in opportunity, lands and lands of
Exactly.
opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah. Symbolism.
Yeah, and basically then we see one of the money shots. And I gotta tell you, this shot, I think, put this on a poster, it looks glorious. Just in the background, in the distance, in this land of opportunity. She sees like way in the distance. You see just like the spires in the fog. It's so mysterious and cool looking of Tomorrowland. She's looking at it. Oh man, I gotta tell you, it looks glorious. Just the little glimpse we get of it, just in the distance.
The tower very much to me looks kind of similar to the tower that was in all the concept drawings for the Epcot city.
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of hoping that they sort of integrate some of the concepts that were going on for Epcot.
I'm sure they are going for a science fiction vibe. It doesn't look to me like tied down too much by things.
Like, what I would love this movie to be is I would love essentially like for it to be like, and of course they can go into different directions from here, but essentially it's like, what if Walt Disney's concept for Epcot, like just this magnificent city of the future where everything, where all the problems were solved and everything was perfect. And what if that actually worked? Like, what if Walt Disney was alive enough, long enough for that to get off the ground, and it worked, and it's been going on? And that's kind of what I want to see with Tomorrowland. I want to see, like, the basic core concepts and fundamentals of Walt's famous Epcot project, but in, like, a really grand scale.
Yeah, it's like for some weird reason. Again, I can't really think where they're going with this at this point. But in a weird way, I'm thinking like in terms of science, because it is going to be kind of made as a science fiction movie, which is good, which is intriguing.
Oh yeah, I mean, come on, you're doing Tomorrowland. Tomorrowland in pop culture is kind of like one of the big bases
of course.
Of science fiction. So
of course, what I'm figuring, just my guess off the top of my head, is that it's going to be like some sort of Walt Disney's Imagineering. At least he's starting the inkling of the Imagineering, and these concepts and the ideas are starting to form. Essentially, some pocket dimensions kind of forming.
Oh, so you think Disney himself is going to be in on it?
No, I'm just saying. No, I'm not saying Disney himself. I'm saying whoever.
Because that'd be kind of wild. Like you'd have to cast another Walt Disney everything.
Yeah, I'd be willing to. You can never have.
I'm on board too. That'd be crazy.
So again, I'm not. No, I don't. From what I understand, no one's been cast as Disney yet. But it's.
What it could be is it could be like a really. Of course, this is all just way baseless speculation here, but I know Brad Bird's the type of person where I honestly could see something like that coming up. And I could see like a little cameo of like a Walt Disney type figure that they don't name. You know what I mean? Like kind of like a late Howard Stark.
Yeah, because in terms of timeline, it's interesting because the girl's in present day. And 1952 apparently is going to factor in big because that was a working title. Then again, it just might be completely throw off people. Why the year particularly? I'm not quite sure.
Like a harvest, yeah.
Exactly. So again, it could be completely throw us off for it actually, because I do actually think it fits into the plot. But you're bringing up this whole like inconsistency stuff. But I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, like 1952, Disneyland as a concept was like, okay, we might build like a little park off to the side of the studio. It hadn't blossomed yet, so.
And again, well, perhaps what they might go for, maybe welcoming Disney by all means. And if so, I gotta tell you, I'm putting stock in them having a Walt Disney, if not a main guy. He's gonna be like in there as an ominous presence, at least a faceless guy with a Walt Disney impression.
I would love it. It.
Basically, he's saying.
What if it's like the robot chicken Walt Disney, where it's like the head in the jar and a spider form?
No, would you stop with the robot Walt? Anyway. My point is, I think they're gonna kind of they might seed in how the original, like the real life flashbacks of the beginnings of Tomorrowland.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
I'm saying like the real life stuff of how Tomorrowland actually formed. It'll be in present day, and the present day is gonna be a little more taking liberties, like in present day where they have a little more apocalyptic days, and then leading to this kind of this pocket dimension, perhaps, or it's like some world, Tomorrowland, of like where anything's possible. Kind of, I think, communicating the message that film and theme parks and everything, it's all kind of this escapist thing. Basically, we're in this terrible world right now. We gotta believe in something to escape to, something positive, something innovative.
Yeah, that's a oh my god, yeah, you hit it right on the head there. That's a really good point.
So I think that's the direction they might be going in terms of like keeping that 1952 angle. And maybe it's about just the formation of that creative spark starting, and then maybe it's not exactly the exact.
Right.
Maybe it'll just start in 52, then get to Tomorrowland and flashbacks, like say Mr. Banks type flashbacks, perhaps.
Yeah, right. Like, I mean, 1952 could be like when Tomorrowland was constructed or something like that. You know what I mean?
The only thing I can speculate is that in the past, with those flashbacks, perhaps, again, maybe flashbacks, is that when all those ideas are being conceptualized in some pocket dimension somewhere, in some dimension somewhere, these things are becoming realities that are actually being built upon in a reality, and this girl can somehow, thanks to George Clooney, can somehow get there.
One quick thing to note about George Clooney, I like how he kind of looks a little bit worn, you know what I mean? He's got like kind of bags over his eyes, frizzled hair. Like he's definitely not like handsome astronaut George Clooney like he was in Gravity, where he's just like, oh, look at me, I'm old.
Well, they are making him an eccentric inventor in this. So.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I like that because most of the time with George Clooney, all you get is George Clooney. You know, you're like, oh, look at me, I'm Bruce Wayne. I'm classy. All right, no, I didn't mean that. He didn't make a good Bruce Wayne at all, but I know in a way he's kind of like the public image of Bruce Wayne without the Batman. You know what I mean? Just the whole persona of George Clooney.
Maybe.
I'm saying without the Batman. I'm not trying to tread on the bat at all.
Yes.
I'm saying just like what the public thinks about him. It's just like, oh, it's just it's just a billionaire. Playboy type, he's been around the block. All right. Anyways, my point is, I really like the look they're going for with them.
Also, there might be an idea of like, again, I have no idea if it's gonna be a dimension or not. I'm just saying that's the only thing I can fathom of like how this might work out. Because again, it's really vague, but that's kind of a good thing. So we're not quite sure as working out, but it looks really impressive.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking like kind of the thing about they might be going for here that in the past, this real life, this back in idealistic past. They create these wonderful ideas that in the present really aren't coming to fruition, or at least people have forgotten kind of in these dark times, kind of that escapist thing. But out of that, idealism has spawned this really inventive, fun, and pushing the edge of tomorrow. Keep moving forward Disney philosophy, if you will.
Yeah, right.
Of Tomorrowland somehow in that dimension is somehow seeped in that magic, probably by George Clooney's hand, I assume that kind of magic, that inventiveness is trying to make its way back into this dreary world through this girl by that little pin seeping into our world. Maybe.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it, perhaps.
We're going for like some sort of Inception vibe on some level,
Well, it's funny you say Inception because I kind of get an Interstellar vibe myself because it's the world is kind of ending and there's this other place that we have to go to save it.
I don't think we can really say that stuff until we see the movie.
Well, what I'm saying is like both Interstellar and Tomorrowland trailers have like footage of, of the world at kind of crazy, crappy times, and then like, oh, there's this place that we can journey to and we can save the world.
Right. Well, in terms of visual spectacle here, we do see like kind of our last after like the big title shot, then we get some action shots. Like before the date comes up for the movie.
What do you mean shots? What do you mean like plural shots? It is one shot.
Oh, well, I mean the guy's moving. I don't know. Yeah, you're right.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to be stickler.
Point is, we see this grand looking mini scene of the wonder, like the really loop-de-loop, again, it makes me think of Inception, just kind of like how it's like loop-de-loop, it doesn't look like walkway, but like it has a lot of growth on it.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, yeah.
These giant loops, in terms of all this really, the architecture guys who love architecture like myself have got to love how the city looks so far as the building designs here.
Oh yeah.
I'm not an architect or anything, but I can appreciate a good-looking building.
Yeah,
I
for
like
sure.
to think so. And there's these giant loops and the walkways. The walkways kind of remind me of Xandar from Guardians of the Galaxy, and kind of like classic Tomorrowland.
I'm definitely hoping to see some people movers in there. I'm sure we will.
And then we see a man with a jetpack blaze on through. So again, really.
You know what the best thing about that is that the guy with the jetpack was like one of the original opening day characters before they even had like Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck roaming around.
Really? What's his story, you know?
He doesn't really have much of a story, you know, it's just like, oh, Tomorrowland, you know, before basically like around the first year that Disneyland was open, they didn't really have the characters walking around. Instead, like every land would have sort of a specific character. So like Main Street, you'd have the mayor. Frontierland, you'd have the sheriff and then Black Bart, and they'd have like gunfights and stuff like that. And then so Tomorrowland, I forget the guy's name, but it was basically a spaceman, you know, and he had like a jetpack and everything like that, and you can see like black and white footage of it. So when I saw the jetpack, I instantly thought like that's got to be a reference. That's got to be a reference. A really subtle one, but I like it.
Right. So I think the big question to ask about this film, just from the little we know about it so far, and just this trailer really raised, is especially this little teaser really raised. Is how directly tied? Because really, aside from Brad Bird's little exposition of the little he's revealed about the movie with that mysterious box with the Disney information in it, how much is this really going to be connected to Disney? Which looks like I'm speculating about those flashbacks, because really, just judging from the teaser, we got nothing talking about Disney there.
Right, yeah.
So the question is, how much is it going to tie into Disney? Because even if it doesn't, worst case scenario, it doesn't tie into Disney at all, it's still going to look really cool.
Yeah, I honestly think this is just kind of like a sort of a gut reaction, but like I said, I'm sort of thinking they're going to take more inspiration from Walt's Epcot concepts than they are the actual Tomorrowland. Because when you think about the actual Tomorrowland, I mean, especially there's definitely going to be people movers, I would hope. If there's not people movers, then there's something wrong with this film, and I will actively boycott it.
Well, you know, actually, they shot at a few Disney parks. So again, it makes me think they might be going for Disney vibe.
Oh, okay.
Now they've shot. I can name the 2 rides they've shot at.
Are you sure that's not for the Magic Kingdom movie?
Nope, it's for this one.
Okay.
They've shot at like around the rides in one in Florida, one in California. The one in California is they shot at It's Small World, after all.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I found. And let me see.
That's kind of a classic old school Disney attraction. So.
And here's one you'll probably be more knowledgeable. It said something about the Carousel of Progress.
Oh yeah, you don't know what the Carousel of Progress is?
I don't know, I'm a little fuzzy on it. I mean, is it in Epcot?
No. Okay, that was that's still in the Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
So the story on the Carousel of Progress is it's basically a giant General Electric advertisement that General Electric and Disney made for the '64 World's Fair. So they're definitely going to do a World's Fair thing then, because
which is by all means welcome, because how cool are World's Fairs?
Because Small World was also in the '64 World's Fair. So knowing that, I can definitely make that connection right away. Carousel of Progress, Small World, both World's Fair attractions. Carousel of Progress is kind of like, you should like look up a video or something, because I'm kind of surprised it's just quintessential Disney.
I might know it. I'm just saying I can't.
Right.
The name of
it. Basically, what Carousel of Progress does is it's a rotating theater. And I think there's like 4 scenes. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but every scene is essentially they skip a decade, or I don't know if they skip a decade or they skip multiple decades, but essentially like the first scene, it's like, oh, here we are, and kind of sets the mood like old times, and it's like, oh, now we have this dishwasher and TV, and
sounds familiar.
So basically the idea is that like the family is reacting to technology as it develops by the good people at General Electric who make our lives so amazing.
Right. So, I'm just saying this World's Fair angle and this Carousel Progress is making me think of like we might get some flashbacks, if not like an ominous wall walking around, not ominous, but if not like a wall.
I don't know why you think Walt's gonna be like some ominous figure.
I'm saying again, so far no actors have been cast, which makes me think like a faceless Disney, which makes me think kind of ominous,
That could be, yeah.
Like basically they're gonna like joyfully kind of poke at the fact that that's Disney, he's walking around, he's so cool.
Yeah, right.
But the point is, if not Disney, then most definitely I assume like a young Clooney will be in these flashbacks perhaps,
sure.
and will be in these flashbacks like touring the World Fair, at least the early beginnings of Disney, kind of speculating, or at least as we go through the walk around.
Actually, come to think of it, like the exterior for the World's Fair attraction was much different than the exterior for the Disneyland one, because the Disneyland one has that iconic, you know what I mean, the iconic like all the world famous icons and everything like that, the clock tower. But do you know if they did exterior shots or interior shots?
I assume exterior. I don't know.
Okay.
Like I assume
small interior, then there wouldn't be really a problem with that.
My assumption is Small World's going to be interior carousels. I don't know. Actually, it might be interior after all. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, because if they're going for the World's Fair angle, we don't know. The main character could just have a trip to Disneyland for all we know. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So we're not.
But there's definitely a connection between Small World and Carousel of Progress. For sure.
But think about this. Like we see these old classic Disney rides, and they're basically kind of looking at the idealism of the past and looking at how they kind of transition to the horribleness of the present, then the super. Like how much the innovation is going along, especially if you look at Carousel of Progress to this fantastical Tomorrowland.
Yeah, and it's interesting because they actually made kind of what many people consider sort of an unofficial sequel to Carousel of Progress, which is Horizons. How much do you know about that at all?
That I don't know about.
Okay, well I'm kind of sketchy on it too. If Adventure Blue Dude was here, he'd talk our ear off about it because he's really obsessed with that attraction. But essentially Horizons it's basically like it takes the concept of Carousel of Progress, but it's like, okay, now we're in like a futuristic sort of thing. So now you are the people that are reacting to the futuristic technology instead of the people in the show, you know what I mean? Instead of the people in the show being like, oh my god, TV and dishwashers. So, yeah, really interesting stuff there. So, I don't know, maybe some Horizons influence can make it in. Again, Adventure Blue Dude's the big Horizons expert, so.
Well, I think this definitely has kind of the Brad Bird spark to it, this little teaser. It's kind of taking me back to, I know it's visually not really the same thing, but kind of emotionally kind of Iron Giant type vibe.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, basically kind of like a kid in this really vast situation or, in this case, world.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like seeing like this really phenomenal experience and us being with that kid during this experience and having kind of a cool mentor of sorts with Clooney in terms of like Clooney Dean.
Yeah.
One is it's looking up for this movie. Of course, Brad Bird so far is really his interment in live action's been pretty good. I mean, Mission Impossible. Mind you, I've really seen the other Mission Impossibles that closely. But
I really love 3. I mean, mostly for Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Pretty much just going into Mission Impossible blind starting with his movie. I liked it. I really knew nothing about the characters, but I was still pretty safe just learning about the movie. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
And again, he really knows how to work his way around these scenes. He has the Brad Bird spark to it, and some of his players are coming back there, and hopefully they'll come back for this because Mug Giacchino is coming back for this one.
I can't wait to see what he does with the score. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, you got a taste of the score in this, and it was pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I pray to I don't know how much action they can really have in this movie, but I'm wondering if they're gonna get Mark Andrews in on that.
I don't know.
He's the go-to action guy.
Yeah.
I really hope to get Tony Facioli or Teddy Newton to at least have some sort of involvement in this. Those guys are great.
But it's a good question how much action this movie's going to have. Like, is it going to be more of like a quote-unquote think piece? You know what I mean? Where it's more like a commentary? Or is it going to be... I don't know,
I'm sure...
It's probably going to be a little bit of both, because that's what Brad Bird likes to do. You know what I mean? He likes to make really entertaining movies that make you think.
Well, in terms of action, actually, I'm thinking about it now. Really, the only action I can figure we're getting is like what's happening in the present, because why things are in such a disarray.
Right? Yeah.
Maybe a bit there.
Okay.
Tomorrowland looks pretty peaceful to me.
Yeah, it does. You got freaking like Jetman just going all over the place. Yeah. All right. So it should be really fun. It should be. Can't wait to see another trailer. You know, kind of track this thing. I don't know. Like, I've always been of the attitude of put stuff from the parks and make it into movies. I like that sort of synergy. I don't like when they do, like, let's turn Pirates of the Caribbean into Where's Waldo Jack Sparrow edition. I'm fine with Jack Sparrow being in Pirates of the Caribbean. I just don't like the fact that all the pirates reference him. But that's a whole different rant. So I don't know. I'm kind of down for this, and I think the idea of doing a whole land is really intriguing, and what better way to do it than a land that in real life, Tomorrowland is kind of like an ever-changing sort of entity. So what better way to bring that to screen than, Tomorrowland, a movie? So I'm stoked for this.
In the immortal words of Howard Stark, make way for tomorrow today.
Oh, yes. All right. Well said. Well said. Okay, so you got anything else you want to say, or should we go ahead and wrap this up?
Again, it's looking up. Brad Bird, he knows how to direct his way out of anything. Pretty much, he's great at directing animation. He's so far good at directing live action, and I'm still wondering where he's at on that whole 1906 project.
Oh yeah, I thought about that.
Yeah, but this is definitely a step in the right direction for the guy. It's a bit of Disney relation. Just the only hope I really have of this thing is hopefully it's going to tie into Disney. But even if it doesn't, it still looks really impressive. I'm definitely going to see this as you are. I presume hopefully it's going to keep looking up with more and more stuff released stuff released about it. So again, they were on Team Brad Bird. Yay!
Yay!
Yeah, let's see him have a real big old victory. Like, let's not have end up like poor old Andrew Stanton.
Oh no, let's hope not.
I mean, Andrew Stanton, he got the short end of that stick because he had made a really good movie and he didn't get. Yeah, it's.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame what happened to him. His first live action debut, he gets shafted. You don't want that to happen to Brad Bird on his second outing.
That would be really awful. It'd just be like, okay, maybe we shouldn't think of this guy. Excuse me, maybe we shouldn't think of this guy for Star Wars.
I'm saying, like, in a future Star Wars movie, maybe Brad Bird's doing well. Let's bring him in for a future, like one of the spin-offs. Like Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh, I absolutely think Brad Bird's going to direct a Star Wars spin-off.
Like, I'm hearing Obi-Wan Kenobi's getting like a trilogy, so I'm saying at least give him an Obi-Wan.
What? I'm not sure about.
That's a rumor. Point is, we're getting spin-offs too, and they
already have a lot of Obi-Wan Kenobi with the Clone Wars and everything.
I'm saying we are definitely getting a Obi-Wan Kenobi film. I'm saying bring him on for something. Bring Brad Bird on for some Star Wars, you know?
Yeah. All right.
Anyway, so
okay, yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys for watching, and we will definitely keep track of this project. Update with any more trailers that come out along the way. And my last thought is Guillermo del Toro. You better get on that Haunted Mansion movie, buddy. Come on.
Keep
all right,
moving
good night,
forward,
everyone.
folks.